Hi, I'm Victoria, the Progressive Center Summer Student Science Ambassador, and this is my 4th week of at-home science experiments. This week's experiment is about density in chemistry. Density is a unit of measurement that compares how much an object weighs to how much space it takes up. Every object in different material has its own unique density. When we say an object is dense, it means the object is heavy and takes up little space, like gold. But if we say an object has a low density, that means it's light and takes up a lot of space, like cotton candy. Density helps us to determine what objects will float and what objects will sink, so that makes it a very important factor for building boats. If we made boats out of something dense, they wouldn't float and instead sink to the bottom of the sea. So it's safe to say density is extremely important. Okay, so now that you know a bit more about density, we're going to do a density-related experiment. For this experiment, you will need water, oil, food coloring, a jar, a bowl, and a fork. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take your jar or container and you want to fill it up approximately 2/3 of the way. Even a bit more is fine. And then once you've done that, you want to fill up your bowl with oil, because we're going to mix the food coloring and the oil together. So now you're going to take your food colorings and you're going to put them in the oil. And then you're going to use the fork to mix it together. So the reason why we're using a fork instead of a spoon is because we don't want to blend all the colors together. We just want to mix it so it's combined with the oil. I'm just going to take a second to put all my colors into the oil. Okay, so once you've done that, it should look something like this. You can even use a little bit more food coloring if you want. Now I'm going to take a fork and I'm just going to drag it through to mix the food coloring with the oil, but not completely together. Okay, so once you've mixed it a bit, you're going to dump the bowl slowly into the water. And as you can see, the oil is actually sitting on top of the water because it has a much lower density. And some of the food coloring is falling to the bottom because it has the same density as the water. But if you let this sit for a minute, you should slowly start to see some of the food coloring drop down and create a raindrop effect, like this. Might be harder to see with the camera, but some of the food coloring is actually dripping down, kind of like raindrops. Because its density is much lower than that of the oil and the water. So it's just going to fall right to the bottom. And you can even put a couple different colors in if you want from here. It might not work as well afterward, but it will create a little bit of an effect. And yeah, that's it for this week's experiment. Tune in next week for another cool experimented video. Thanks for watching!